Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, I'm here to shoot a new video on the benefits of violas. So that includes pansies, violets, Johnny jump ups, and the like. They all have similar benefits all across the board because they're all very, very closely related or pretty much the same thing. So I grow mostly now, I haven't grown like the bigger cultivated pansies in a while because mostly now I go with more the smaller, more wild variety of pansy, the viola tricolor. And then I also grow violets that, yes, they're wild violets that I dug up from my yard and planted in separate pots out on my back deck where they can get less sun and they just tend to grow bigger and more lush. And so this little bit here, because they don't take up a lot of room when they're dried, are what I've dehydrated so far this year. But I've mostly just been using my violets directly and other things like in these vinegars that I started. So this one I just started yesterday. It's dandelion, violet, pansy. I've got a few pansies in there, and camellia flowers. And yes, I know some people pronounce it camellia, however you want to do it. I say camellia. It might be wrong. I don't care. Anyway, this is the one I started a week before. These particular batches are being made for my hair wash vinegar because I make a lot of vinegars through the season using different flowers and herbs that are really good for the hair and helping to promote hair growth. So in this case, these are my first ones to come in. So the nasturtiums will be much later, so I'll be making that later. So anyway, that's just an example right there. Today, what I wanted to talk about are the benefits and uses of these flowers. And also to note, even though I talk a lot about the flowers, the benefits and uses apply to the leaves too, because the whole plant of all of these varieties is edible. I find like the pansies and the Johnny jump ups that the leaves have a more kind of a wintergreen type flavor, and so do the flowers, but especially the green parts of the plant. I don't notice that flavor so much in the violets, but especially in the Johnny jump ups, the cultivated pansies, and so on. And the two nutrients that you're going to find mostly in your violas are vitamins A and C. Violas are really good for skin and hair health, which is why I use it in the hair wash vinegar, but also these flowers get added to my infused oil that I use to make my homemade skin cream, which I have a couple videos on. One is a video on the oil infusion itself, and another separate video on making the skin cream from that oil infusion. So I'll be linking to both of those in the description box if you're interested. So not only is it good for healthy skin, just like any herb that's good for healthy skin is also very healing to the skin. So it can help with things like eczema, acne, and insect bites. It's also very good for heart health, which is why a lot of times pansies in particular are referred to as heart ease. They're good for respiratory health, and this includes helping with lung infections, bronchitis, and whooping cough. And of course, with that being said, it's also good for just any cough, sore throat, handling just your standard colds and flus. So you can make teas out of it, tinctures, and so on, or add it to your homemade syrups for coughs, colds, and flus. It is good for helping to heal UTIs and anything that's good for urinary tract infection, any kind of herb, I personally believe is best when used as a tea. Though yes, you can still use it in a tincture form, but when you use it as a tea, then that's causing you to drink more liquid. That's also going to help flush everything out. And this is why I always recommend a tea in that case. So the plants are anti-inflammatory, diuretic, anti-aging, antioxidant, are good for gut health because it helps to restore that proper balance of gut flora. This was a new one to me. It's helpful for healing conjunctivitis, so any kind of eye infection you may get. In this case, again, it would be something you would make as a tea allow it to cool, strain it out well, and then you can use it in your eye. You can add even a little pinch of salt to help it match the body chemistry better, so you don't get that weird heavy feeling that plain water can, when you open your eyes underwater, how it makes that feel. Adding a little pinch of salt to anything you're going to put in your eye, believe it or not, will help balance it out. Too much salt can cause it to burn, so it's just getting that right amount. Usually I say about a little tiny pinch per ounce. A couple more surprising ones that I hadn't read before about this is it's good for helping with joint pain. So that could be something you'd use in your infused oil for your joint and muscle rub, or even, I would assume, taking it internally, again, in the form of a tincture or a tea or other such, so it can help from the inside out. It's good for jaundice and hepatitis. So those really surprised me. So let's talk a little bit about the uses. So what you already talked about the vinegar, but one of my favorite things to do during the season is when I'm getting my fresh lettuces and kales and different things, cucumbers and so on, I like to make salads out of. I love to add the violets, the pansies, whatever is available to my various salads, because not only is it healthy and they have nice mild flavor that will blend well with any kind of salad, but it adds a beautiful color. I've even used such in adding color to a potato salad. Now, it does scare people who aren't used to eating flowers, but I've seen people just like, okay, I'm not touching that because I've never eaten flowers before. But I love it. It's just like adding borage flowers is another one I love to add to salads, because they already have that nice cucumber taste, and you get that pretty blue in there, along with the purples, pinks, reds, oranges of your viola flowers and other types of flowers that you're going to add to your salads. Now, some people will candy their pansies and then use them for decor, or you can use them fresh for decor on cakes, cookies, cupcakes, and so on. I haven't done that yet, so the image that I'm showing here isn't something I made. It's just something I specifically looked for online so I could show a picture just to give you an idea. Again, teas, I've used pansies in teas quite often. I find I really like the flavor of the pansy mixed with marshmallow flowers and or leaves to make just a really nice tea. It does actually almost have a marshmallow flavor when I do that. Even though to me the marshmallow plant flowers leaves taste nothing like a store-bought marshmallow, but when I blend it with certain other herbs, it just gives it that nice flavor I really like. You can also do cold infusions. So instead of a hot tea, this is great for summertime, you can add your violets, your pansies, your Johnny jump ups to the leaves and the flowers to your cold infusions. So that's when you're taking like a jar, I'll show you some pictures here. In fact, I'll link to a video I did, I think last year, on some cold infusions that I like to make during the season. And you can just throw those into your water and put your lid on and then let it sit in the fridge overnight. And then the next day you have this nice infused water that's cold, and so now you know for certain that you didn't destroy any of the benefits like the vitamins A and C through the heating process of making tea. I've also added pansies to stir fries and to my homemade soaps. I love the color that they add. It's a lot of your flowers don't, when you add them to soaps, don't hold their colors great, but some of the pansies, especially the darker ones, will kind of hold their color in the soap. So one of my very first soaps I made years ago was a pansy and yarrow soap, as you can see in this image right here. And plus you're getting the added benefits of those herbs in there. And yes, you can, if you prefer, make a tea out of those different herbs and use that as your water replacement when you're making your soap, and then still add the dried flowers to that so you can get those little added flecks of color and even some texture to the soap. Now that I've said all that, I know there's many more uses, many more things you can do with your pansies, the flowers, the leaves, and so on. And there's probably quite a few people who watch me that already do this. So if you have anything you would like to add, please put those in comments down below so people can scroll through there, get some more ideas from you as well. And I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to learn more about the benefits and uses of other types of herbs, be they wild or things that you just already grow and maybe you grow up for their beauty, like your pansies and so on, but you never thought of them being edible or usable for anything, please check out the playlist that I've been building since I started my channel back in 2016. So it's quite a number of videos in there, and so I'll have that whole playlist link in the description box down below. And thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.